A university student named Susie Hamilton found herself in the middle of a heated argument with her neighbor after parking her Fiat on a public street in Guilford. The dramatic confrontation, which was caught on camera, saw the neighbor, who claims to be severely asthmatic, launching a foul-mouthed tirade at Susie, blaming her for making it difficult to walk up the hill to her house. The woman furiously told Susie, "If I die, you're for it," after accusing her of taking a space that was known locally as hers. The argument erupted when Susie opened her front door to find 4 people confronting her about her parking choices. The woman insisted that Susie and her housemates should park elsewhere, because she struggled to walk up the hill due to her health condition. Susie, standing her ground, pointed out that the road had no allocated spaces, and she and her housemates also needed parking. The woman became visibly frustrated, snapping that Susie and her housemates didn't need parking because they were students and hadn't been living there as long as she had. Susie was quick to challenge this claim, arguing that being a student didn't mean they had any less right to park on a public street. The neighbor, however, insisted that the space had always been understood to be hers, even if there were no official markings to indicate so. Susie continued to defend herself, saying that she and her housemates had 3 cars and were simply parking where they could. The woman, becoming increasingly upset, claimed that her space was being taken unfairly, and that she had nearly suffered an asthma attack due to having to walk further up the hill. The situation escalated further when the neighbor's daughter got involved, accusing Susie of intentionally ignoring their requests to park elsewhere. Susie explained that she hadn't seen the other space they suggested she use, and maintained that she wasn't breaking any rules. The group also complained about her housemates' parking habits, but Susie firmly reminded them that they weren't doing anything wrong since it was a public street. The neighbor then threatened to report Susie to the council, but Susie dismissed the threat, saying that the council had no authority over who could park where on a public road. The argument reached a boiling point when the woman broke down in tears, accusing Susie of being inconsiderate and not understanding the struggles of someone with asthma. She yelled that if she died from an asthma attack, Susie would be responsible. Susie was stunned by the accusation and questioned whether the woman was seriously blaming her for a potential medical emergency just because she parked in a spot that wasn't officially reserved. The woman insisted that if someone parked outside Susie's family home, her parents wouldn't be happy either, arguing that the students should show some respect. Tensions continued to rise as a man in the group threatened to move Susie's Fiat himself, although another person quickly shut down the suggestion. Susie, feeling increasingly overwhelmed, questioned why she and her housemates were being targeted by multiple people at once. When she pointed out that one of her housemates also had severe asthma, the woman brushed it off, continuing to argue that she had been parking there for years, and everyone else in the neighborhood respected that. As the argument drew to a close, the woman's daughter claimed that other residents in the area willingly avoided the space out of respect for her mother's health condition. She accused Susie of being rude and refusing to move when asked politely. Susie refuted the claim, saying that while she understood the woman's frustration, it didn't change the fact that there were no assigned parking spaces. She also added that it was unfair to expect students to give up their parking needs just because they weren't permanent residents. The dispute ended with the neighbor pleading for Susie to at least avoid parking in the space during the evenings, saying that it would make her life easier. She asked for a bit of respect, while Susie, clearly exhausted from the confrontation, sarcastically apologized before closing the door. Once inside, she turned to her housemate, who had been filming the entire ordeal, and mouthed, "Oh my F*********, I'm God." The video of the fiery exchange has since gone viral on TikTok, amassing over 11 million views. Many commenters sided with Susie, saying that the neighbor had no right to claim a public parking spot, and that she should apply for a disabled parking bay if her health condition made it difficult for her to walk. Others, however, suggested that while Susie wasn't in the wrong, she could have been more considerate, especially if everyone in the neighborhood knew the space was usually left for the woman. The debate continues online, with opinions divided over whether students should prioritize long-term residents' needs, or if public parking should always remain first come, first served.